I sat staring at the computer screen in the blackness of my room. The time in the bottom right-hand corner turned to 11:56 p.m. I knew that in 6 hours, I was going to have to get up and get ready to go back to that hellhole. But I didn't know if I was ever going to be able to do so. The thought of seeing those evil people again frightened me to the bone. I'm not talking about the other students. I mean the teachers. I'm still not sure if I'll be in danger if I go there. Trust me, if you saw what I've seen, you'd understand. Let me tell you exactly how things led to this point. I was a nerd. I was always nice to everybody in the school and nobody had any problems with me. You could actually argue that I was one of the more popular kids. But I simply befriended everyone I could. Benjamin Franklin once said, "Speak ill of no man, but speak all the good you know of everybody." I loved this quote. In fact, I'd even go as far to say that I lived by this quote. It made me feel like a good person, and everybody loved me for it. Everyone in school would always say things like, "Nothing ever happens," or "This place is so boring." But this school was actually pretty eventful. Just in the last 3 weeks of school last year, there had been 3 fights, a prank some seniors pulled where they put loads of dollar store candy in the desks in the school, and even a death on campus. The fights didn't really interest me, and the candy thing was cool. The teachers didn't really have a problem with it, seeing as they didn't break anything when they broke in. How they got in is still a mystery. That only left the death on campus. It was a quiet girl nobody really knew. Her name was Amelia Rose, and she apparently didn't have any friends, and would skip class to hide in some other area of the school. One day, she hid under the metal bleachers and started taking some drugs she found in her parents' pill cabinet. I don't know exactly the kind of drugs she was taking, but there was an allergic reaction, and she was dead by the end of the period. The entire school was torn apart and depressed for an entire week, only to be returned to its usual madness the following Monday. It was rumored that her ghost haunted the school. People even started telling stories of weird things that would happen to them when they were alone. One lacrosse player would tell stories about how the locker doors would mysteriously open and close when he was alone in the room. A kid on the JROTC drill team who came in early before school hours to practice said that when he went upstairs to his locker in the dark, he swore he saw a ghost. And a girl who'd stayed after one day said that when she went to the bathroom, a toilet flushed by itself. She was the only one in the bathroom. Now, I wasn't entirely sure I believed these people myself, but I sure as heck wanted to. The idea of some kind of spirit roaming the halls with us throughout the day fascinated me to no end. On the last day of my psychology class, my teacher asked the class if we wanted to do a seance to try and talk to Amelia and help her move on. Everyone happily agreed, and we all gathered in a circle around the room as Mr. Braun lit candles around. He warned the class to be respectful as he actually believed in what we were doing. When we first started, nothing happened for a while. 10 minutes had gone by before the light bulb on Mr. Braun's lamp exploded. A few people jumped. A deafening silence was followed shortly thereafter. For a second, I thought our teacher was pulling an elaborate joke on us, but when I saw the look of shock scribbled across his middle-aged face, I knew it was not of his doing. We sat in silence for what seemed like an eternity, when our awkward makeshift seance was interrupted by the bell. I was honestly a little disappointed. I really wanted to talk to Amelia. Walking toward the buses, a brilliant idea popped into my head. I could sneak into the school over summer break to contact her. Everyone knew that nobody was in the school over summer break anyway. I wonder what the teachers do over summer break, I thought to myself. The thought quickly left my mind as I started imagining if I'd be able to make contact with Amelia. After plenty of internet browsing and planning, I had everything I was going to need before the first week of summer was over. I told my parents I was going to one of my friends' houses and rode my bike the 2 miles to my school. When I got there, I instantly felt like running, but I had gone through too much crap to just turn around now. I looked around for an open window or something, but to no avail. I started worrying I wasn't going to be able to get in, and part of me was a little happy about it. I told myself that I was going to try the seldom used back door to see if it was unlocked, and if not, I was just gonna head home. I walked over to the rusted brown door and pushed. I was completely awestruck. It was open. I slowly entered the large, seemingly empty building. Walking down the halls, I couldn't help but think to myself that this didn't feel like the school I'd come to know. It felt like a whole different place not during regular school hours. I walked around trying to decide where to set up my little ritual area when I noticed something out of place. The door leading to the basement was wide open. Without thinking, I slowly made my way down the stairs. I could hear some kind of chanting. It made me feel really uneasy, but curiosity trumped fear, and I continued on. What I saw chilled me to the bone. I saw 5 teachers. They were all wearing black robes and standing around the bloodied corpse of Amelia Rose. I pinched myself to see if I was dreaming, only to realize this was no dream. I can't describe in words how terrified I was when they all started walking toward me without saying a word. I feared for my life. I sprinted the hell out of that school and pedaled my bike as fast as it would go. I spent the remainder of the summer trying to play video games and forgetting about the whole ordeal, but I just couldn't. The worst part was that I couldn't even tell anyone about it. That's why I'm writing this, in hopes that someone, somewhere out there, will believe me.